Kellogg's, Fruit Loops, okay, in the United States have all of those colors in them, right? Up like in my painting. In Canada, that's not allowed. So, but there's still different shades of gray and browns, and it's like, and in Europe, that's just not allowed. Or if you look at even Heinz ketchup, right? Heinz ketchup in Canada or the United States has a list of ingredients this long, right? In Europe, it's this big, right? So I think we have a lot more toxicity in our food supply than people know.
Welcome to Inspired Choice today. I'm your host, Caroline Bisalski, here to bring you authentic stories, surprising lessons, and powerful takeaways to fuel your journey in business and life. In each episode, I'll take you from one inspiring guest to the next, blending their experiences with my expertise to uncover practical strategies you can use right away. Whether you're starting out or stepping up, stay tuned for insights and actionable tips that make a difference. And stick around until the end for a special freebie just for our listeners. Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline and my today's guest is Colin Kingsmill, and I'm so happy that he said yes to our interview. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Caroline. It is a very crisp morning here in Atlantic, Canada.
Wow. And I would love to introduce you to the audience, of course. So you had a high-flying career in Swiss banking, global sales and marketing, and your visionary left behind conventional success to start fresh. With over 20 years of experience across the world in branding and communications. No, that is not you, right? Is it you? You lead the Enough Already movement. Is it you?
That's me. It's all me.
I was confused because, okay, so the Enough Already movement addressing burnout, disconnection, and the suicidal need for deeper, more meaningful change. Today, you reside in Mahone Bay, Nova Scotia, dedicating yourself to helping others reconnect with their purpose and live authentically. And once again, welcome to the Inspired Podcast. It is you, Colin Kingsmill.
Yes, it's definitely me. Thank you for that introduction. I kind of have 3 chapters in my life. You know, the banking chapter, the international development chapter, and then this last chapter, which is all about really serving and helping others. So you're right.
Great. Thank you so much. I always ask my guests if they recognize themselves in the bio. And now when I read this, I thought, is it the person I meet right now? Yes, it is you. So I was confused. Sorry for that. And my first question is, what inspired you to create the Enough Already movement, and how does it reflect your own journey of transformation?
That's an interesting question. I'm not quite sure what inspired me, actually, but I think it's related to how sick the world is and how in my coaching work and our leadership development work and the stuff I do around those areas, my work in the last few years has felt like being in an emergency room, you know, like in a triage, right? So people come into a workshop or they come into a coaching session and you try and patch them up for an hour or an afternoon, and then they go back outside, and there is so much toxicity in the world today that it really felt like a Band-Aid. So I started to think, well, okay, and I'm also interested in like food supply and health and well-being and you know, connection to others. And I just thought, you know what, we've got to stop with we've got to stop with our disconnection with who we really are, our disconnection to humanity. And that was really the beginning, because you could see sort of statistics around youth and how much therapy they get, how much medication they get, how everybody, at least over here in the United States and Canada, are on antidepressants, anti-anxiety, ADHD. It's like, what's going on? So I said, enough already. We can do things better. That's how it really came about, was through my work in coaching.
I understand. And what do you think? Why is the world so toxic around us? For you?
So I have a theory, and it might be completely crazy or wrong, but my theory is that the entity of the corporation is disconnected from humanity. So it allows corporations to not think about the humans that are at the end of the supply chain or at the end of the product offering, right? So it allows companies to make food that is not food, right? It's manufactured edible product. It allows companies in healthcare to not provide care, but provide the means for furthering that relationship with you. So keeping you sick, right, allows the corporation to stay alive and to prosper, right? Same with things like the banking industry or the military industrial complex, or, these big businesses that no longer have, I mean, we could look at seeds, we could look at farming. There are so many industries where the corporation, I think, has broken away from the human being and is almost acting against us, right? Ultimately. So that to me is where the crux of the problem is. And then it all stems from that, right? I mean, if you were really in the healthcare business, you wouldn't keep people in a comorbidity state forever, right? And the food business is connected to the pharmaceutical business, and that's connected to the healthcare business. And it's just, I think we have forgotten, I think along the way we have forgotten our collective humanity, and that we are one lineage on this speck of dust. That's my theory.
Okay, I understand. Thank you for clarifying. I didn't know that you were talking about the word toxic in the literally or in the real, because you talked about food and like toxic is also we use it in a different sense, like toxic when we talk about toxic people. Or I didn't think of it as, yeah, they had something toxic in their food, or in their mind.
Right. Right. And I think you're over in Europe, aren't you? You're in Germany or Germany. So I'll give you one example of that toxicity, right? Kellogg's, Fruit Loops, okay, in the United States have all of those colors in them, right? Up like in my painting. In Canada, that's not allowed. So, but there's still different shades of gray and browns, and it's like, and in Europe, that's just not allowed. Or if you look at even Heinz ketchup, right? Heinz ketchup in Canada or the United States has a list of ingredients this long, right? In Europe, it's this big, right? So I think we have a lot more toxicity in our food supply than people know. So things like seed oils, right? That used to be a lubricant for battleships in World War II, right? And now it's called vegetable oil, but there's no vegetables in it, right? So I am actually being very quite literal when we speak about toxicity, but it translates to people too, because if you don't feed your body, right, real food, that affects your mind and your mindset, and that's why we have so many people with mental health problems in this part of the world.
Wow, thank you for pointing that out. So I have to admit, with all the 465 interviews I did, you are the first person talking about food that way, or in general, but about that problem. And in Germany, we say you are what you eat, right?
Yeah,
You,
absolutely.
yes, like that, because you are made of it. when yeah.
Absolutely. And if you are not nourishing your soul and your body, right, your mind cannot work properly. So, so you have brain fog, you get depression, you get anxiety, you get all of the mental health disorders, because your food supply often, right, if you go to regular stores, is not real food. So your
Yeah.
mind can't work properly. You can't have kind of an inspired vision for the tomorrow or the future, right? So anyway, that's my theory.
Well, thank you so much. Now I have to think about it. Of course, it's so true. Okay, my next
Yes,
question, we'll do this
tell me.
after the recording. Was there a pivotal moment that made you realize the need to change your life's direction and redefine success on your own terms?
Yes, I had. Well, it was kind of a moment in time, but it involved a car accident where I spun out of control, and actually probably near you in the Swiss Alps. And I could have landed in the lake, or I could have landed in the snowbank on the side of the mountain. And I landed on the snowbank, which was good. My life would have ended if I had uh, landed in the lake. But uh, it was really a metaphor for my life, which was spinning out of control. Um, and not externally. Like externally, I had everything could want, right? A great life, a great career. I had my own business. We had an office in Lugano and in Milan, and I did all the right things, the right things, quote unquote. But I was deeply unhappy, anxious, depressed, stressed. Um, and so that the car accident intersected with somebody saying, you need to take better care of yourself. You need to meditate. You need to do some Reiki. You need to do some wellness. And I'm like, what is that? I had no idea. Right. So it was those two things, people waking up and going, if you don't stop, you're going to kill yourself. And then the car accident, and a little bit of a spiritual awakening one day where I'm like, oh, this is all wrong. So it was that trifecta of just waking up one morning and going, this is all wrong. That accident was a indicator, and friends telling me. So it was a triple threat, I guess.
I understand. So it was wrong. You realized, and this is not what you wanted, how you lived until then.
Yeah, I mean, I that whole first chapter was designed around ambition and success, but it was all external, right? All of it was, well, what do I need to do to look like I am successful? Because those are the things that you are supposed to do, right? Supposed to do and have and be and act, right? So you go and get an MBA, you go and get the right cars, you go and get into, banking and wear a suit and tie, and that's, you know, then you become ambitious and you want more, and then you get into you start your own business. But it was all of that was to heal some kind of core wound of unworthiness that I had inside. So the traffic accident, right, stopped me. If it wasn't that, it was going to be something else. But then I decided at that point that I needed to make radical changes. So I moved back to Canada, and I I I decided to get into an industry in a field that was more tangible. I always loved to build things. I always loved to plan things out and map things out, and architecture and things like that. So I got into international real estate development, and I loved that for 20 years. It was incredible. I traveled the world from Bora Bora to the Maldives and everywhere in between for work. Um, but that chapter two um, wasn't feeling that fulfilling by the end either. It was just getting to be a bit of a grind. So I said, all right, let's change it up again. And I decided that I had been around the world so much and learned so much that it was time to start to serve others and give back. And I could see with my coaching business and that things aren't right, that something's not right. We have to change something. We as humanity need to rediscover who we are. And that's where when I came up with this idea of enough already, we can do better. If we begin to remember who we are and rediscover our humanity, if we can begin to live in integrity with ourselves and live and play and work, right, in integrity, if we can begin to dissipate fear and let that go, fear and guilt and shame and all the other things that come with that, we can become free from psychological suffering. So that's my mission now. It's enough already. We can do better. Remember your humanity, live in integrity, play in integrity, become fearless, and then free from suffering. And just think about it. If people rediscovered their humanity and remembered we are one lineage here, how would we treat people differently, right?
That's so true, and that's so impressive what you tell us about your changes. You not only once, you changed twice, and then you talked about the external, or more than that, you talked about the external success that we name success when we see it with other people. So I would like to know, how does it look like internal success?
Oh, well, internal success is just calm, quiet. You're living in the present moment. You're not looking in the rearview mirror. You're not looking forward, and so it's an internal piece, and then it's a purpose-driven existence, a purpose-driven life, right? That's not fueled by coping, right? So often people today are striving for something and they don't quite know why. And typically it will be a coping mechanism from the past. So really, being successful today, I think, is that inner peace of not backward, not forward, and doing something that fuels your soul and serves humanity and serves others and serves the world. As opposed to, I want to get rich because I felt as a child I was unworthy. You know what I mean? So, or I need a Ferrari because, or a Porsche, or whatever you want, because that is going to demonstrate something. So it's this release from a coping mechanism, release from an intention of what you're doing that is not as pure as it could be for you, right? That still has stuff from the past that you kind of want to get rid of. So that's it. For me, it's those two things.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. So success is not chasing something because you need it. It is a result of, like, a logical result of,
Yes.
of the doing part when you are in that state, right?
Yes. Yes. So success should not be the destination, right? It should be a byproduct of you being who you really are, right? And you living your purpose in as clean a way as possible. So success, you're right, success or money or whatever you want to call it is a consequence, not an end point, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I have to re-listen to this again. It was so powerful what you just shared. Based on your global experiences, what key insights do you believe are essential for achieving true, fulfilling success, you see, in today's world?
I think it's meditation and mindfulness, okay? Because it really allows you to stop being reactive, right? Stop reacting to the world around you, going up and down and all over the place. So meditation, mindfulness, and you need to couple that, I think, with something I call like a personal protection mechanism. Stop watching the news, get informed, stop absorbing that toxicity we spoke about, whether it's with people or whether it's food or whatever, or alcohol or drugs or whatever. So create that space for meditation and mindfulness, build a personal protection system around you, live in authenticity and integrity. And that might mean losing half of your friends, right? I'm not saying it's easy. It can be scary. But if those three things will transform your life.
Yes. Thank you. I have two questions.
Yes, go for it.
What I ask next. But okay, I ask them both. So what
Tell me.
would you say is the difference? I mean, at once, what is the difference between meditation and mindfulness? Because someone just recently explained to me that it is the same. And the second question, before I forgot that, is you talk about losing friends. Do you have experience with losing friends? How does it look like, and how easy it is to let them go?
Okay, interesting. Good questions. So meditation, mindfulness, I think they are two different things, right? Meditation is a practice that you can do every day, right? To keep you in this place of the now. Okay. Mindfulness is using that practice throughout the day. Okay. So you might have a 15-minute or a half an hour in the morning of meditation. Mindfulness means throughout the 24 or 23 hours that you are out there living in the world, you are always coming back to that meditative moment, that place of calm. So you are not reacting throughout the day. You are not having these ups and downs. It's you are just in consciousness every moment of the day, especially when you move from one activity to the other, right? Just remind yourself. So for me, it's practice and application, really. And then what was the second question? I already blanked on it.
Your friends, or
Losing friends. Look, yeah, it's liberating. It's kind of scary in the beginning because you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. But it is liberating. It's freedom. Because you always have to ask yourself, how much energy am I expending on maintaining this relationship? And is it adding that? Like I think of us as a gas tank a lot, right? Or solar panel, whatever. It doesn't matter, but you are an energy supply. Okay. And for me, it's all about how much energy do I want to expend on that particular relationship? And is it adding value to them and to me and to the world? And if it's not, if there's any degree of toxicity around it, or it's difficult or it's challenging, find your new tribe. And you will, once you begin to live in that authentic place, right? Or that place of integrity, you will find your new tribe. And it might be painful. It's like pulling off a Band-Aid, right? But it's worth it because you reclaim that energy, that fuel source for yourself to then go and do better things with your purpose, right? So it's all connected, you see.
I see. You talk about the systematic approach. Something like that, when you change yourself, the whole system changes. Yes, of course. Thank you so much for sharing. I now understand, and I think that I would say the meditation part, the 30 minutes or whatever, is the container from which you, how's the word? From which you pour or during your day, or it feeds you during the day, and its mindfulness comes out of it, I think.
You're right. Yes, good way to put it.
Totally. Thank you. I'm trying new words, new expressions. It's my expansion here, the podcast. Thank you so much for being a part of it. And
it's my pleasure.
Thank you. I have one last question for you. It is about your goals. Do you set goals for yourself or intentions? And what is one of your next projects?
I really set, and it's only recently that I discovered this. I kind of set just the big vision, the bigger vision, and then let it happen. So not getting into the nitty gritty and the details and the grind and the hustle, but set the big vision and see what happens. But make it bigger, like make it as big as you can, as crazy as you can, and then let it flow down from there, as opposed to the daily grind and the daily hustle and the life should flow. So
Absolutely. Yes. So I have another question. Of course.
oh gosh, okay.
No, I mean just the difference between, because how I see goal setting is, you write it down. It's like 2-dimensional, or I don't know the word. And when you have this vision, you see it, right? You see it before your eyes already. And also I love that you said make it big. And so and also when you have this goal, it is like this is you and this is your goal. So it is, there's a place called there, and you are not there yet. So when you have this vision, I think it is like you are more in the faith that it will happen, or you surrender, right?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. And I think sometimes goal setting or lists and things like that can hold you back and hold you down, because if you don't achieve this by then you start to beat yourself up. I'm much more of, what is your purpose, and can you expand that and allow possibilities within that framework, right? Instead of being, I want to start a company and I want to have $1 million revenue this year, I think that's limiting. So it's a bit unconventional, right? But allow the flow to happen. And I do believe in manifestation, though. So and if you saw my office here, I've got vision boards, I've got visuals, I've got stuff all over the walls, but they're conceptual more than I need to get this done by Friday. So I think that sort of expansion of the vision and ideas and writing things down, are great. Less sort of down and tactical and more up is the way I see it.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. Okay, and now, of course, I want to know where people can find you when they want to reach out after listening to this episode. And this is my last question.
You can find me on Twitter and X, just Colin Kingsmill. I'm there, easy to find, or Instagram, same thing.
Wow, thank you so much for our interview. Now, of course, it's time for your final thoughts to the audience, please.
Oh, I always say it doesn't have to be like this. If you are stuck or suffering or blocked, just remember it does not have to be like this. You can deconstruct the stories in your head and reconstruct new ones. That's my point.
Reconstruct. Best message. Thank you so much. I start doing this now.
Okay, good.
And see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to Inspired Choice today. I'm thrilled to have you on this journey of growth and transformation. Don't forget to hit follow or subscribe to stay connected and never miss an episode. And here's something special. Grab your free 20-minute breakthrough session with me. It's designed to help you kickstart or level up your business. Just check out the show notes for more. Until next time, keep making those inspired choices. See you in the next episode.